welcome back to Hyrule Herald News. I know I've been out for a while, but, life happens. But I'm back now, I'm going to give you some news. Which, this is a good week to be back, because pretty big things happened recently. One big thing is Nintendo is going even further into third-party content. Apple just had a conference showing off the iPhone 7 and all the new features of that, which I'm personally not keen on, but opinions aside, they also had an announcement for a Nintendo product coming to the iOS store. This Nintendo product coming to the iOS store and eventually Android is called Super Mario Run, which by the looks of it is your basic run and dash and jump kind of game, which it's just like Mario levels, regular like new Super Mario Brothers look and levels, just non-stop, just it's all reaction time games, which on an iPhone is actually really good. I personally like those kind of games where it's just quick time. It's just see how your reactions work. They showed a little bit of gameplay of it, and it does look pretty good, especially with Nintendo working with a third-party hardware system. Now there has been a little bit of controversy with it, but overall everybody seems to like it. It is said that it will be released in December for iOS systems and later on for Android, but right now it's going to be exclusively iOS for a certain amount of time, we don't know how long, and then Android's going to finally get it. So Sony just announced two different PlayStation 4 models coming out soon. One of them being a PlayStation Pro and the other one being essentially a PlayStation 4 Slim. It's not called Slim, but it's Slim. Let's talk about the Slim first. The PlayStation Slim looks just to be a smaller version of the PlayStation 4, obviously, with same capabilities, just a little bit more roomy, and also the corners are round, so a little bit of a different design choice. They might have a little more teraflops, because that's a term now, but it's functioning like a regular PS4. Now the PlayStation 4 Pro, a little bit different, where the PlayStation 4 regular runs at about 1.5 teraflops. This is supposed to be running about 3 to 4 times faster than that. To compensate for this, you get a little bit of a bigger design, a little bit hunkier. Instead of having the 2 layers, now there's 3 layers. Still has all the regular features of a PlayStation 4, uses USB, uses Blu-ray, but it won't use 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray or whatever it's called. It will stream 4K, which streaming is a little bit hard to have, steady resolution and quality, but it will be able to stream 4K, but it will not be able to read 4K Blu-ray discs. Alongside the 4K streaming, there is also, alongside with the 4K streaming, there's 4K video upscaling. So it will upscale your videos, if it can, to 4K. So it's really just trying to push quality. And same thing with the games. The games are going to be higher quality, and the games, if programmed to be so, can also run in 4K. Now let's talk about a little bit of No Man's Sky controversy. So there's been a lot of bad press going on with No Man's Sky. One big thing, and that's the biggest thing about the game that everybody's really mad about, the developers didn't deliver on what they promised. There's a lot of features and a lot of things that the developers said that there will be in the game from launch and stuff like that, that just wasn't in the game. The game just seems like tedious collecting and item management and inventory management. So with the lack of all this promise, yeah, it could be like a Minecraftian type game where, there's all this collecting and planet exploring, but then they will add patches later to make it into the full game that they originally planned and promised. But the problem with that is that they still have the $60 price point, and that's what people are mad about. If the game is not finished, then it should be at a lesser price. The more you do to the game and actually have a finished, full-fledged product, the higher the cost of the game should be. And this is pretty much the consensus overall in the internet and how most people are pissed about it. There's still people playing it and everything like that. But with these controversies, and since they didn't sell a complete game technically, a lot of people have been asking for refunds. And early on, places like Steam and PlayStation have been giving out those refunds. Steam does have a refund policy of 2 hours. If you play the game and you don't like it within 2 hours, you can ask a refund, no questions asked. But that's not the only way you can get a refund. You could ask for a refund no matter how long you play the game and see if you get approved. It is a longer process since you play more of the game, but it can happen. And a lot of people kind of slip through that with No Man's Sky. And same thing with PlayStation. Sony usually does not give out refunds at all, but there has been a lot of refunds given out for No Man's Sky. Which basically comes down to people saying this is not the game that was advertised, this is not the game that I wanted, or people lying that it's saying it's crashed and there's, you know, a bunch of bugs that won't work and I want my money back, or store credit or whatever. And for a while it did work. Even with people with 100+ hours on the game, it still worked. Which it shouldn't have if you played that much of the game, but it still did. Now they're a little more tight on it, and it's not happening, but Steam sales for No Man's Sky went down 30,000. A net loss of 30,000 people owning the game. That's a lot of people. Granted, they still have a whole bunch of people still playing the game, or at least still owning the game technically, but that's a lot of refunds for a game. Which, if you do release a game and it does not have everything that you promised it will have, then it's kind of expected that people are gonna have really bad reactions to it. And during all this madness, the developers have said nothing. They are trying to stay clear from any storm that comes their way and just let it resolve itself and let people get mad. Not talk about what they didn't add and everything like that. So bottom line, No Man's Sky is not the game that people hoped it was. It might be one day, and you might get your money's worth for that $60, but right now, it seems not as great of a game as it could have been. So there's all of the news for this week. If you like this episode, thumbs up. If you want to see more from us, subscribe. And until next time, bye.